This morning, we're pleased to welcome Francine F. Forbes. She is a passionate advocate for whole body wellness, combining both her personal and professional experiences to empower and inspire others. As the founder of Be Pure Bold, she encourages people to be brave, original, and take bold steps towards discovering their strongest, healthiest selves. Through her work, Francine blends practical strategies with a holistic approach to wellness, helping individuals to achieve transformation from the inside out. So, if you are ready to identify your why, this is why you should listen to her story. Purpose seekers around the globe, please help me to welcome Ms. Francine F. Forbes to the Sold into Purpose podcast. Hi there, Purpose Seekers. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode on the Sold into Purpose podcast. As usual, in the Soul Story segment, we invite our wonderful guests who are here to provide us with practical insights on how you can live a more purposeful life. Today is no different because we have a wonderful young lady who's here to share with us. She's a passionate advocate about whole body wellness. So if you're out there and you want to get fit in the season, maybe the summer body missed you, but you want to catch up now, this is definitely the episode for you. She has used her personal and professional experiences to see transformation in her own life, and she's here to share with us so that you can also take those transformative steps as well. She is the esteemed Francine F. Forbes, and welcome to the platform, Francine. She's here to take us on a journey of creating a healthier you. Hi, Francine. How are you today?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm giving God thanks that you are here and that you're sharing with us so that we can make some transformation in our lives. I'm curious, at any point in time, do you wish to be on Forbes magazine?
That is the goal one day. I'm hoping I'm building slowly, but that is the goal one day for sure.
Awesome, awesome. We take a lot of sips here on a Sold into Purpose, mainly tea, but what is your favorite thing to sip on?
To be honest with you, hot chocolate. I am a chocoholic. I love chocolate. Listen, that's one of the things that I'm working on with my relationship with chocolate. So hot chocolate.
Awesome. And I'm sure or purpose seekers, they love it just the same. But in case you have a different taste, you can let us know in the comment section. A little birdie told me that your mantra has something to do with think, act, and be bold. Why have
Yeah.
you taken on that persona?
Because for me, I'm in the field of mental health, and in order to do and accomplish anything, you need to think first, you need to act, and you need to execute that process of being bold. So it was easier for me when I'm just like, you know what, Francine, when you're on this journey and when you want to inspire other women as well and other people, they need to think, act, and be bold. And it's just an overall statement that I think aligns with Be Pure Bold and myself.
Awesome, awesome. And we'll touch on your brand a little bit. But you mentioned that taking on that mantra is easy for you, but I must admit it might not be easy for myself and maybe those who are viewing and listening. So if somebody's feeling stuck, what will be your
Mhm.
little bit of inspiration to them to say, hey, this is how you can tap into your boldness?
I would say ask yourself, what is it that you want? Identify your why. And why I said that think, act, and be bold was easy for me because I was able to identify what I wanted, my version of wellness. The world is so overstimulated with so many things, right?
Mhm.
Find a quiet space and really sit down and think about what is it that you want and, then apply whatever steps, whether it's just a thinking phase, whether it is the acting phase, or you're at the phase of being bold and ready to execute.
Awesome sauce. And I trust that our purpose seekers are taking notes and they'll definitely take the initiative to move towards something today because that's really sound advice. It's important for us to not just have the dreams and aspirations, but we must put them into action. And it's the Soul into Purpose podcast. Every guest know that I have to ask you, what does purpose mean to you?
Purpose means community for me.
Mhm.
It is, we're all on this earth for a reason. We all have gifts or many gifts, but purpose for me is a community and inspiring and empowering people. I'm an only child, so I think for me, I don't really have that grand or big setting, right? I don't have a lot of people. I don't have siblings, but for me, purpose is community. And I know that just rolled off so quickly. I'm just like, I'm always a community-based person. I don't know what it is.
Awesome, because nobody's an island, and we definitely need the support to, bring forth our vision. And as we talk about purpose, and even before you started this journey, what was little Francine like? What were her dreams and aspirations before coming to this point?
Oh my gosh, Little Francine was opinionated. Um, but during that time, I knew I wanted to be in the field where I help people. I wanted to be a psychiatrist or emergency physician.
Mhm.
And then life has a funny way of saying it's not what you want. And I'm a very spiritual person as well. So God was just like laughing, like, okay, this is what you want to do. That's not what I have planned for you. So the essence and the niche is still pretty much the same as, being a part of a community and helping people. But when I was younger, I wanted to be a doctor. Now I'm just like, I'm happy to be a nurse practitioner. I'm happy to be a whole body wellness advocate and coach and building a thriving community and helping people. I really do enjoy that, honestly. It's a lot of work, but I enjoy it.
Awesome. And you mentioned God, because I think it's a similar story for myself. Started out in one field, and God would have enabled me to pivot. We
Mhm.
start the journey and we encounter either different challenges, or God says, no, that's the wrong direction. How do we handle pivoting as a critical part of our journey?
It's all about obedience, right? And that's something that I had to learn. Like I said, Little Francine is very opinionated. So I had to learn how to listen well and to learn and to be humble and to just obedience is the big thing. You just know that life isn't going to always go the way that you want it, but you got to take away from it. Like, what is it that am I supposed to learn in this season? And overall, what is it am I supposed to know? How am I supposed to go forth? Is this my path or my new path? That's how I had to look at life as well.
Awesome. And in changing our perspective, I'm sure that you'd have gotten to a certain point in your life where you're like, okay, I need this transformation. And I'll allow you to tell that story. But I believe it's important to say, I need to transform. And it's also even more challenging to say to others, transformation is key to your journey. So, can you tell us about your journey to transformation?
Oh my gosh, I remember it like it was yesterday. So I've been on this whole body wellness journey, this Be Bold journey for the past 5 years. And that started because I was insecure. When you people look at me, they say, or you're so confident. I don't see any version of what you're saying to me. But, when you lay at bed at night and your thoughts are racing and you're not comfortable, and when you look in the mirror, as I'm looking in the mirror right now, just to give you a brief example, I was just not happy. I was not confident. I was ashamed. I didn't like how I looked, didn't like my body at all. And I was approaching my 26th birthday. And I remember after having such a wonderful time with my friend, I cried home on the 40-minute ride after the lounge. And in that moment, I said, this is where my transformation has to start. I can't be doing this crying after I just celebrated my birthday for 40 minutes. Face is puffy, makeup is ruined, hair is ruined. And I said, you know what? This is where I need to change not only my body, but my mind. And that's how I started first. I started with curating my mindset, and then everything else started to come into place. So my emotional aspect, my physical aspect, my spiritual aspect as well. And that's kind of where the whole body wellness comes into place. I'm targeting your entire essence, your entire body, in addition to your intimate wellness as well. That to me makes you whole.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you shared the different facets, because when persons think about health or just wellness on a whole, we typically say, okay, we need to get in shape, but there also needs to take place a transformation of the mind. How important
Absolutely.
is the mind in this entire process?
It's 100% important because remember, I'll give you an example. I live in the cold, and
Mhm.
at no point in time, I was born and raised in Kingston, Jamaica, if you can't tell by the accent that goes in and out. But at no point in time do I want to get up in 8-degree weather, right? Fahrenheit, and go to the gym or go work out. But it had to start with my mind. I had to be able to say, I need to be consistent, I need to be disciplined, and it starts here. Any journey that you're going to go on, whether that is a whole body wellness journey, a financial journey, or just a journey in general, you need to really ask yourself, am I ready? Why now? And remember, I had mentioned the why in the beginning.
Mhm.
Why are you ready now? And your mindset will help you to be accountable and to stay on track, because the discipline and the consistency starts here.
Absolutely. And you mentioned that after that breakdown, you wanted that transformation. Was there a particular weight that you started from or a goal that you have in mind? Have you achieved that as yet?
So I'm 5'2", even though my confidence is a little bit 6'2", but it's okay. And I weigh 209 pounds, right? So imagine you go to the doctors, are telling you that you're obese, even though I didn't feel like I was, and then I got down to 136 pounds. Yeah. Yeah, naturally. But like I said, it started with the mind, and ever since then, your whole body wellness journey, you're gonna go through ups and downs. Yes, have I gained a little bit of weight after that? But I'm in the experimental phase. I like to figure out what my body likes and what it doesn't like. So now I'm back on track, but from 200 and something pounds to 136, naturally, yeah, I did it. And so can other people too.
Awesome, and congratulations and on that journey. I will get into the different tips, and I was going to say tricks, but it's important for us to use the tips
Yeah.
because we want real results. So you did that and you were able to achieve it, but at any point in time in that journey, were you discouraged or were you just motivated all the way?
Oh my gosh, no, not motivated all the way. I was discouraged, like I said, like getting up, going to working out in the winter time when I'd rather be in home in Jamaica and relaxing, right? And having my coconuts, because that's a big thing for me.
Mhm,
But also, in addition to that, the financial aspect, I was working two jobs and being in grad school and in undergrad full time.
mhm.
Um, Despite the last name, you know what I'm saying? I still had to work hard to get everything and achieve everything that I have. But yeah, there was definitely challenges, and there's still challenges. That's what life is all about. But in addition to this whole body wellness journey that I've been on, I also made another statement to myself. And I said, this is a lifetime contractual agreement with my mind, body, and soul. And because it's an agreement, I know that there's going to be ups and downs, and I was okay with that. And it helped me to go over those humps and hurdles.
Absolutely. And we would have shared previously on the platform that health is wealth. And I just want you to just share with our audience in real time the correlation between health, wellness,
Mhm.
and purpose. Because for me, in order for us to achieve purpose, we have to be alive. So are you able to
Yeah.
just stress to somebody who is listening or watching how important is wellness as it relates to achieving their purpose?
Absolutely. Thank you for that question. Like I said, it starts with the mind, and we go through so much, whether you're as women, as people overall, life is complex, right? So in order to even get to that point of correlating health and wellness, or health and wealth, it is start with your mind first. Take a little bit of, coping skills and mechanisms such as deep breathing, finding alone time and figuring out what best works for you and your budget, your lifestyle, your complexities, because we're not all cookie cutter. Our lives are different. There's so many aspects of us, right? And my recommendation will always be focus on making time for your mental health in whatever regards you can, whatever resources that you have.
Absolutely. And for those who are listening, you can start with the simple mechanism that you have at home. And then, of course, you can reach out to a professional such as Francine, who is here to guide you on that particular journey. So we've touched a little bit about your personal experience, but I just wanted to share professionally. How have you helped either your patients or just your clients in general? Are you able to just give us some practical examples so that persons can see that the transformation is indeed occurring?
Yes, I can give you two examples. So in addition, I'm also a psychiatric nurse practitioner and a whole body wellness coach.
Mhm.
And with the psychiatric nurse practitioner job, or just being a nurse in general, I do that when I was working on a daily basis. And I'll give you an example. Have a client at, history of substance use. So a lot of narcotics, fentanyl, different stuff like that. I remember having a conversation with this client, and we were just talking about their facets of life and how their struggles, and just taking time out of my day, even though it was busy, and talking with my client about coping skills and ensuring that they had a better perspective and outlook. That 5 minutes really changed that person's life. And then when regards to whole body wellness coach, I have a client right now, I'm helping her with her entire body as it's suggested. And she texted me the other day. She said, you know what? My husband said I look so good. Not that I didn't look good before, but just hearing that made me smile because that's what I want. I want you to feel so good that when you start to radiate, the people in your community or the people at your home can see it as well. And that when her husband said that, that made me so happy.
Absolutely. We talk about wellness, and for most persons, we view this as a positive thing. But for some persons, we may say, okay, I'm fluffy, I love the way I am, and I don't want anybody to body shame me. How, as a professional, do you handle any particular stigma or demystify any stigma that is associated with wellness to get persons to understand that it's more so for you than any other reason that you can come up with? What would you say to those persons who are struggling with that?
Yeah, so remember I had mentioned in the beginning, it's your individualized version of wellness, right? So that's how we will be able to guide you and enhance you to your individualized version of wellness. And that is the key. It is what you want as a client, it's what you want as a person. And we just curate it to ensure that you're getting the best results that you can, right? And building a supportive and safe community as well for other like-minded individuals. So no body shaming at all. It's what you want as a client, what you want as a person, because ultimately it is individualized and it's your wellness. It's your lifetime contractual agreement with your mind, body, and soul.
I love that you say that it is an agreement because it reminds us that we need to be consistent. Oftentimes, we start this wellness journey, for example, myself, and I think the greatest struggle that we have, not just in wellness, but in life in general, is to be consistent. So it's important for us to have that agreement with yourself to know that I'm doing this for me to create a better experience, not just for myself, but you can hear the compliments, as you rightfully mentioned, that will help to add an additional level of boldness. You've turned this into a business venture. And I just wanted to tell us about that. When persons come in contact with Francine, what can they get from you? Because a lot of persons will say, we hear the wellness coach online and we've seen it. We want to know what is different. When we connect with Francine, what it will the experience be like?
Well, for me as a Jamaican, I'm very skeptical about anything. And that's just point blank period, right? But for me, what you're getting is that individualized version, right? I am helping you curate your life. And in addition to that as well, my story is true and honest, and you can see the results. And like I'm in the process of sharing a little bit more because I always like to see as this reserved person, but I'm realizing that in order for people to really understand your story, they really need to see the ups and downs and not just keep it in my iCloud. So I really need to share that. And I've been doing that and the results have been amazing. So what I offer that's different is I'm catering to you, the individual, not anybody else, but you, and we're working together. But with that in itself, accountability is a big part. I am here as a guide to help you, but I need you to be ready. And that's where I help you as well with the mind, right? So it's multifaceted. It's the whole body that I'm helping you with.
Awesome. And if persons wish to connect with you, can you share with them where they can find you on social media?
BePureBold@gmail.com. And BePureBold is on every social media platform. I made sure that I had that cohesiveness because that was important for people to find you. And if you Google my name as well, it should tie in with my Instagram with BePureBold as well. But Gmail would be the best bet.
Awesome, awesome. We have a global audience and we just want you to just share with them. When it comes to, we talked about the body, we talk about wellness, but you also mentioned that you offer or cater to persons who may have some psychiatric help or assistance. How can persons well, I know that it's not an overnight transformation, but for those who are really struggling at this point in time, perhaps with addiction or with binge eating, whatever the scenario is, what would you say to them in this moment to help them at least at a starting point to break that cycle?
That's a really good question because every person's psychiatric or substance use issue is different, right? But to give a generalized sense of what I've experienced is some have the resources to seek out a professional and some don't. So they use other coping mechanisms. I would say find an online group that can help you. If you are in Germany, if you're in Jamaica, if you're in the United States, there's online groups that you can find that we can be able to act as a guide and support you if you don't have the money. And most of them are free. You get to talk to and hear about people that are like-minded, that's been through the similar struggles. And that's a good place to start, is these virtual online support groups. Very, very effective. And I'm glad that you asked me that, because I will be able to put that on my website as well. So anyone that goes on my website once it's launched, you can see the different support groups that you can tap into. And that's a part about building a community as well. So Akila, thank you so much for that question.
Awesome. So we talked about the community, and we also provided tips on how persons can somewhat start this journey to transformation. But what we didn't touch on, and I just wanted to talk about that a little bit, because sometimes we need the help, but we don't realize that we do. In terms of your body, because I do understand that being 209 and having 5'2" height, then obviously they're going to say that you're over your BMI. Can you please share what are some of those symptoms that you feel? Because for you, you had a mental breakdown. Is it a case where I feel depressed? Do I feel out of breath? What are some of the signs that persons can look out for to say, hey, this is the turning point and I need to do something about it?
I would say the anxiety and the depression for sure. I remember just going through periods that I was just crying myself to sleep every single night. And I would get up in the morning, because I'm high functioning and an anxious person. I'd get up in the morning and see my patients and perform well. But on my way home, or at, during my sleep hours, just crying myself to sleep every night. So those two would be the anxiety and the depression. And also just looking in the mirror and just not being happy with what I saw. There's this thing called body dysmorphia, where you look at yourself and you could be very good looking, but the images, the distortion in your mind is telling you something different. And I think that played a big part of it as well. I talk about it in my book that I'm in the process of writing as well. It's just how I felt during that time. And yeah, so I would say I was just very unhappy mentally and physically.
You also mentioned that persons would say, okay, but Francine, you look good. I don't see what you're talking about. For persons who may be around us and they are observing this and they would want to recommend the changes, I know that it can be sensitive. Can you give them somewhat of an approach as to how it is that they can reach out to their loved ones without, making them feel worse or going deeper into depression?
Being supportive. If you see that someone wants to go on a wellness journey or a health journey, you start by doing the little things. Don't make it too obvious, right? Especially if someone's really sensitive. So if someone says, I really want to try to eat healthier, don't just say, oh, let's just go out every night then. If that's the case, then pick different options. Pick a salad bar or somewhere that they provide healthier options, so that person can really feel inspired and feel like, all right, I'm going to do this, but I know I have so and so to kind of guide and assist me as well. It's just being supportive in a subtle way, because when it comes down to health and wellness and body, a lot of us are sensitive, a lot of us. So we just have to be supportive in a subtle way if possible, please. I know our culture, we're very direct. Some people would say, boy, you're pregnant, or boy, so and so, be a little bit more, nice about it.
I saw a video on Instagram recently where a famous influencer, she was saying, greeting people and said, boy, what do we get fatty? That is not a greetings. Like people, they're able to look and see, and you don't know if persons are actively working on that. And for those who are listening and you don't understand or language, it's really just saying, maybe you see someone, they've gained a few pounds, and you really want to point that out to them, maybe in the form of a greetings, but it really can be a sensitive area and it will warrant a reaction that maybe you're not ready for. So it's important for us to, as Francine shared, to do that in a very subtle manner. So Francine, we looked at health and wellness and having this level of commitment, not just to the process, but also to ourselves. If it is that we're feeling down and depressed and everything else, overall, we're just not happy with who we are and where we're at in life, it's important to make those changes. You mentioned that you started this journey at 26, but do persons go through different phases? What if someone feels that they're over that particular age and it's too late for me? Is there an age barrier as it relates to starting wellness for you?
Oh, absolutely not. It's when you're ready. Like I said, you have to identify your why. Why now in this period can I mentally be ready for this journey, and age has nothing to do with it. I just gave a number just so if anyone wanted to know. I like to be transparent and open. I'm 5'2". I started at 25, 26. I like to just be open and just be an open book. That's just me. But no barriers at all for age. I help every single one.
So, Francine, just in parting, what are your final words to our audience this morning? It can be on inspiration, purpose, or just something that you want to share on wellness.
I had something totally different to say, but my heart is being led differently. And I know, finances is a big issue. Also, the complexities that we go through in our lives to be able to tap into who we are the trying to design and sculpt our mind, body, and soul, right? But I always like to add this. We get up and go to work every morning, or we work for ourselves. We go to school, we do this, we try to make ends meet. It is important that you find the time, even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you start slow. Remember, it's a lifetime contractual agreement with your mind, body, and soul. So if you can only find 5 minutes, 10 minutes throughout the day, apply it to yourself, because we're so busy doing things for everyone else and every other organization thereof, but we always neglect ourselves. And that's what I want you guys to understand. It doesn't take a lot, but it's the consistency. Those 5 minutes turn into 10 to 15 to 20, all the way up to 60 minutes, for you. You're doing it for you, not anybody else.
Absolutely. We need to take time to be whole, as you mentioned. I even did some of that today. I sat at a particular spot and I'm like, I really need to do this a little bit more often, because it just helps you to reconnect with yourself and just to process your thoughts. And it was really refreshing. So I'm definitely going to implement, if it's even a 5 minute walk, just to free your mind and take a break from the screen or whatever activity you're doing. So I definitely agree with that. And with that, we just want to thank you so much, Francine, for joining us this morning. It has been truly enlightening, and I trust that those who are listening and watching, that we will definitely come together to start this journey of wellness. Please feel free, don't be a stranger if it is that you want to share this with, because we have a community here of purpose seekers. If you want to share those hashtags with us or links from your website, you're more than welcome to do so, so that we can have persons connecting across the globe to change their lives and ultimately to see the transformation. All right, Purpose Seekers, I'm your host, Akila Thompson. As always, remember, it is not the beginning, but it is the continuing to the end until it is faithfully, wholesomely, and wonderfully accomplished. See you soon.